Hello scrapbookers and welcome to June. Can you believe it's already June? I cannot believe it. My kids are actually still in school. They get out tomorrow, so that will be nice that we'll be able to start our summer and take tons of photos and have a lot of adventures. But anyway, I just wanted to jump on real quick before I actually started recording. So this layout is going to be for Citrus Twists. If you didn't know, I am going to be their guest designer for the month of June, so make sure to come on over to their blog and my YouTube channel. I'm going to have a bunch of fun layouts for you guys for this month. So I just kind of wanted to show you the video and kind of talk to you, do a little intro. So I have 3 different sets of photos here. I haven't decided which one, like which set of photos I'm going to do yet. But I wanted to kind of show you and kind of talk through my process. So usually it kind of actually depends. But if I have a kit, usually I go through my photos and try to figure out what photos I think would match the kit the best. And this photo or this kit is like fun, summery, let's have an adventure, summer, it begins, kind of stuff like that. It's got reds and yellows and pinks and blues and just so much fun and colorfulness that I immediately thought of summer. So we haven't hit summer yet here, so I was thinking I would do some old photos of my kids, and I came across these photos from 2009. This is my middle son, Brennan, and our old dog. She was only with us for 2 weeks. She was a puppy. I think she was 8 months old when we got her, and we just couldn't handle it with 2 little kids because I think Brennan is, let's see, this is 2009, so he would have been almost 3 in these photos, and Brennan was a handful of a, 3-year-old toddler. So handling a puppy and a 3-year-old, a crazy 3-year-old, was just too much for me. So we kept her for 2 weeks and we loved her, and I wish that we would have just stuck it out, but it was just so much work. And she was already, maybe she was 6 months old. I can't quite remember, but she wasn't potty trained. And so having to potty train her, and Brennan wasn't even potty trained at this point, and like all of this. So it was just too much for me. But I have these photos that I haven't scrapbooked yet. And so I have 3 different stories that I want to tell. I'm kind of leaning towards this because you can see that he has a popsicle, and then Lilac has a ball in her mouth. And so I was thinking I could kind of incorporate the 2 stories together of Brennan loving popsicles at this age, and then also loving to play with Lilac. Like at the same time, like literally he would always have a popsicle in his hand while he was playing with the dog. When they were little, we used to just eat popsicles all the time. We don't eat them as much anymore. I don't know why. But then there's also this one. I think this was Lilac's first bath. And I just love this photo. She's like, really? Why are you doing this to me? So I kind of want to just cut this down. I think this was taken through my legs. My husband must have taken this. So you can see, so I don't know, maybe I could cut it on an angle. Because I don't know, I don't really like the look of that. Like, it was a cool idea. But I'm not sure I really like it. But I thought maybe that would be kind of fun as well. You can just see her face, like, why are you doing this to me? And then this one's just kind of a cool shot of the water hitting her. So, sorry, my volume was up on my laptop. So I'm not quite sure which ones I'm going to do yet. And then this is just Brennan with Lilac throwing the ball with her. And I really like this action shot. You can see her about to, run for the ball. And I kind of like that. And I could do like a bunch of cropped images on if I use this photo. because I do have 3 photos in each one of these sets. This one has 4. And I'm thinking that I don't want the photos to take up the whole layout. Like, I want to be able to play and have some fun. So I'm not sure which ones I'm going to lean towards, but as I go on, you'll kind of see me figure it out. I just kind of thought I would get on and talk you kind of through my thoughts about picking the photos. And this is the kit. If you didn't see, I do have a kit reveal video that will be up right before this one. So if you haven't watched that one, make sure to go and watch that one as well. It's Ellie's Studio, let's see, Oh My Heart, and some Dear Lizzie, and just a bunch of different papers and things this month. So I am super excited. I'm going to go ahead and start fast forwarding, and I hope that you enjoy this layout. Thanks so much for watching today, you guys. Okay, so I am back, and to start out here, I am going to dump everything into this little bowl. This is actually one of those, I don't even know what you call them, those little things that you can dump like embossing powder and stuff in, and then like keep it contained, so, and then easily dump it back into the container. So I'm just going to put all of my embellishments in there. Okay, so now here you can see that I ended up picking out these 3 photos, and I am actually going to decide to take one of them away. And I bet you can't guess which one. So here I'm just cutting them down. I was thinking I would do all of them square, and then I remembered, oh dang, this one on the far right needs to be a little bit longer because the ball is more to the left of the photo. And so I am actually going to nix that photo just because it just didn't fit in and wasn't working as well as I had hoped. So at first I was thinking I was going to do a straight across band with all 3 of these photos. But my idea totally changes after I decide to go with just these 2 photos. So here you can see I have both of these photos just right next to each other. Here I'm going to use this exclusive Citrus Twist paper, and I am going to use the side that is more of a yellow with blue on it. I liked the piece that's on the left hand side, but the polka dots just kind of, to me, I don't like mixing a ton of patterns. So the fact that I was going to use that plus sign paper that's behind my cutter right now, I absolutely love that paper. So I knew right away that I wanted to use that plus sign on here, but the polka dot just kind of threw off, like just added too much. So I am going to cut this down, just cut a band across. And at first I was thinking, oh, I'm going to, after I cut it, I was thinking maybe I would just leave it as a full band, but then I decided that I really just want it to be a nice mat around the photo. And I wanted to really keep this layout really simple. I tend to do simple layouts, but at the same time, I also try to stick with the trends, which layering is a trend and using a ton of embellishments is a huge trend as well. I don't really succeed at either of those, but for this layout, I wanted to make sure that I kept it kind of simple. So here I'm just going to use the back of this paper that I backed the photos with. I really liked that you could read some of the phrases and the words and everything. So I'm just going to do a little piece behind the photos. And here I'm using my Close to My Heart Lagoon ink just to ink all of the edges just on the papers. I decided just to do the papers so that they would stand off the background because the background is pretty white, and this plus sign paper, which is from the Live More collection by Pink Fresh Studios, and that one was white, and so it blended in. It didn't really stick out from the background, but I wanted to make sure that you could see that it was another piece of paper. But here I'm thinking, okay, I need something behind this photo. I don't want to pop it up. I was taking a picture because sometimes it helps to take a picture just to kind of look at it and see and ask some scrappy friends for their advice. So I am going to decide not to go with the houndstooth. It just created too much contrast, I think is the word that I'm going for. I didn't want it to be a contrast behind the photos. I wanted it to create depth. So here I'm just taking another photo, just kind of looking at it, just seeing exactly what I am looking for. Here I decided that the white was a little too white, so I'm going to use that Lagoon ink to ink the edges and kind of just ink up the paper and make it not so stark white. And I really, really love the way that turned out. I'm so glad that I decided just to go with the white paper. And this is just tissue paper that I got from an order, I think. So here I'm just fixing it all up and gluing it down. And I knew immediately when I saw this sticker that said cute, and this is from Ellie's Studio. I knew that I just wanted to have that as an accent. At first I wasn't going to have that be the title. I was thinking about, playing ball or something boring like that. But then I decided on the printable cut apart sheet, they had this little word that said summer. So I am going to have the title be Cute Summer Friends. And so I am going to incorporate that little summer tag thing from the printables on top of the word cute. Okay, so here is where I kind of mess up. So I was thinking about how I just cut out the word summer, and then I spelled out the word summer instead of friends. And I was like, seriously, did I honestly just do that? Sometimes you just have to laugh at yourself and be like, oh my gosh, I'm ridiculous, right? Laugh at your mistakes and then move on. And that's exactly what I did. So, and here I'm thinking that color doesn't match too well. So I did kind of ink up the color of the alpha with some of that Lagoon. And at first I'm thinking I'm going to put it down to the right underneath the photos. That is going to change a little bit. And let's see, I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do exactly, because I had an idea that I wanted to do it in the middle, have everything just be in the center, and then build my layers and everything around it. But that was that was all that I really had thought about. So now here I'm just going through all of the embellishments and things like that. This is the sticker sheet from Oh My Heart that came out from Pink Paisley by Paige Evans this year. And I was super excited to get this chipboard sticker set because I don't have it yet, and I was so excited. So here I'm just including that little chipboard piece, and then I'm going to decide to bring the word friends down, and I'm trying to kind of embellish both areas at the same time. So I kind of go back and forth and back and forth. That's just how I scrapbook. I don't scrapbook all in one area and then all in the next area, because sometimes you have to try things in two different areas before you find the right spot, like that little date card. It just has a spot for the date, and I was thinking I was going to put it down by the word cute and then changed my mind. Okay, so this is where I change up that word friends. So it just was not matching really well, and I didn't want it to totally stand out. I wanted the title to flow. So I decided to ink up the word friends. Did I even spell it right? Now I'm thinking I spelt friends wrong. It looks super funky. Anyway, so I inked it with my StazOn ink, and then I dried it a little bit with my heat gun. And I really like how that looks so much better. So that's a way to change up maybe an alpha or an element. If you really, really love it, but the color doesn't work, use an ink pad or spray it with some mist or something. Okay, so now here I'm going to use the stamp set, and I'm going to stamp one arrow in blue on each side pointing toward the word friends. And then I'm going to stamp it in black as well. And I'm sorry about my head there. And then I'm going to stamp them up here as well on this, in this other cluster. And I really love how simple but elegant. I don't know, is elegant the right word? I just really like how simple that looks, and it brings in the stamps. I am so bad about using stamps on my layouts. I don't know if you guys are like that, but I am like that. Like, I'll use stamps on cards and things like that, but on my layouts, it's just so much work to have to pull them out. So that was one of the reasons why I left this stamp set in with the embellishments, because I knew that I wanted to try to incorporate them onto the layout, and I really love how this worked. Okay, so now I'm realizing I had the title up too high, because I was thinking I was going to do a bunch of arrows underneath the word friends, but then I decided that that was too much. So now I'm going to bring the word friends down, but then that is going to leave a kind of a, I mean, not a huge gap, but a little bit of a gap, and I didn't want a gap between the word cute and friends. So I'm going to put down friends right here, and I'm going to kind of fuss with that for a little bit, just because I put the arrows too far apart, and I didn't want them to be spaced so far from the words. So I'm going to kind of fiddle around with the placement of the letters, and then I'm going to decide to move the word cute down. So the only downside to that is the bottom half of the word cute is resting on that tissue paper. So it was so hard to pull it off without pulling up the tissue paper. So in the end, I just have to deal with it and go with it. I had to pull off a bunch of well, I mean, it wasn't a bunch, but more than I would have liked. And so what I'm going to do to kind of cover it up is just put some more of that Lagoon ink, and you can't even notice it, and it still looks so fun, and I really, really love that. Okay, so now here I'm going to put down a few of these chipboard pieces. They're the flowers from the chipboard set from Paige Evans, and at first I'm liking the way it looks, but then it just feels too much. So here I pull off this other one, and I'm liking it, but at the same time I feel like it's not working. So I'm going to kind of look around at a couple of these other pieces from the kit, and then I'm going to pull all of those flowers off. At first I was thinking I would leave the orange one, but I just didn't like it. Then I tried this bigger chipboard flower set, didn't like that, and then they had this little yellow flower, and that one, oops, sorry, my dog is barking. That one worked out perfect, and I really, really love how that turned out. Okay, so I was taking another photo, and then now I'm back, and I am going to add some splatters to this layout. So I pulled out a couple shimmers, paints, colors, one in Well Blew Me Down, and then the other one in Bed of Roses. And I decided to just use the Bed of Roses because I already had the blue with the stamps, and so I wanted to bring in some more of that red that is on that plus sign paper. And I really love how that turned out, just adding a few more. And then I'm going to add some lines, and I used a pen that I should not have used. I'm kind of bothered with myself that I used this pen because it is kind of running out of ink, and so I totally messed up. It's all good though. It still looks super cute, and I really love it. At first I was thinking I was going to use this blue, and then the red, and then the green, and then the purple, like all these colors, but that is it. I will show you some layouts or some photos, some close-up photos. I hope that you will make sure you come on over to the Citrus Twist blog, and I will see you guys again soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!